Hey everyone, and welcome to my daytime tour of the city of Sanctuary. I'm going to take you guys down by the water first and show you what's going on there. Everyone pretty much wants to live by the water here in the city of Sanctuary, and that's because of the Nuka-Cola Boardwalk here. The Nuka-Cola Boardwalk draws a lot of tourism, and if you can see, the tallest building in the city here is the Hampton Hotel, located right at the entrance. I'm going to take you guys actually down to the other entrance to the boardwalk so we can walk through the whole thing and see everything. So if you were to enter from this side of the boardwalk, the first thing you're going to come across is Slocum's Joe. Slocum's Joe is where you're going to get your deep fried foods on the boardwalk, and nothing better than donuts. Ruby Cuts is where you get your haircuts. Riverwalk Bar and Grill, these guys serve soda, and then their employees actually fish right here out of the water so that people can eat. And then you guys will notice that there's a lot of arcade games located up and down the boardwalk. Usually there's a token machine within the vicinity. Here's some of the bathrooms on the boardwalk. And then here is the Cosmic Arcade. Cosmic Arcade is 2 stories. The second floor contains most of the video games. Let's go check out Nuka Clothes. Nuka Clothes right here. I don't know where my vendors are, but here's the interior of Nuka Clothes. I guess my vendors are all having lunch together today. And then you've got the Hoop Shot over here. Let's go check out the city. So this is essentially downtown Sanctuary. It's where most of the high-rises are located. I'm actually going to be building over here pretty soon. As you can see, there's a perfect spot for another high-rise. Here is the park where Sean was supposedly conceived. I decided to keep this instead of covering it up. I figured it looked cool in the settlement, and it's the only settlement that has a park located in it, so I wish that they would allow you to build pieces like that in other settlements. If you notice, there's a little warehouse right here. Well, not little, but it houses our reactor, so it's basically disguising our power plant. Let me show you guys the inside of it real quick. The idea of it is that if there's ever raiders or gunners or someone trying to invade the settlement, that they wouldn't be able to get to the power plant. And that's pretty literal too, because you know how they will attack the power plant if you're trying to defend the settlement. And here's the reactor. This is the Vault-Tec Super Reactor. This is the only thing that powers the entire city of Sanctuary. Alright, let's go. Let me show you guys the interior of one of these houses over here. So when you guys first get this settlement, you'll probably remember that these are filled with junk. Like, they are filled with junk. I couldn't build that much junk if I tried. But once you clean out all that junk and scrap it all, you can decide whatever you want to do with these houses. And I decided to repair them and make them into houses again. So what I did is I put up walls, and I kept some of the windows, and I kind of just patched all the holes. Wherever there weren't walls, I put walls again. Yeah, I like to think that, you know, even though these houses are barely livable, they look like they've got holes everywhere, and you're probably going to get wet when it rains. The idea is that Sanctuary is the type of settlement where if you're wandering the Commonwealth and you're not a bad person, you're not going to try to kill anyone, that you could move into one of these ramshackle houses until you can save up enough to move into the actual city where you would have a real roof over your head. But I like to imagine that that's what these houses serve their purpose for. You'll notice this guy over here in his driveway. That's because I tore down his shop. He used to have a shop over where Clothing Emporium was. I'm going to build him a new one soon, but he was actually the first general shop that I ever built in Fallout 4, and it just was too small, so I decided to replace it with Clothing Emporium. If you guys follow me on Instagram at NoModMaster, you can actually get the lore on Clothing Emporium and the city of Sanctuary and other settlements I post about as well. I can talk about a lot of stuff on here, but the reality is there's a lot of little details and stuff inside these buildings and homes that I only have time to post about on Instagram. I can't cover everything in a tour. So if you guys notice here, the road kind of ends and goes right back into the city. That's why I like this road. It kind of loops you right back around into the city no matter which way you go. And what I really enjoy about the settlement here in Sanctuary is that it really is the only settlement in the game that has its own suburbs. Like, these are legitimate houses, and I just really like how it makes the city of Sanctuary really feel like a city. It really does have its own suburban like population around it, which is kind of cool. So every time I do a video, Carla's here. What's going on, Carla? If you guys notice, I also put lights up and down the street here. I feel like these lights are perfect for like a neighborhood vibe. They're not too big, they're not too small. You can kind of lace them together really easily. This right here is actually another major entrance in my settlement. It looks like you can't go through it, but you can actually go right through here. And I like to imagine that if there was people wandering the northern part of the Commonwealth, they maybe would come across this path or this road, and it would lead them to my settlement here. If you guys notice this building coming up here, Sanctuary Tavern and Inn, this is actually the first building I ever built in Fallout 4 many years ago. What was it, back 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. It's a bar. Hasn't changed very much. Interior is pretty basic. It's very large. I don't build shops this large anymore, of course, because they would take up my entire settlement. But the first one gets away with it because it's the first one. What's cool about it is it actually has this little outdoor area here in the back. So if you're having a beer, having a cigarette, you can come out here and shoot some bloatflies down by the swamp. Let's go take a look at the inn upstairs. So the inn right over here is 3 rooms, 1, 2, and 3. And they all have different qualities and sizes. This one has like a little balcony over here. You can just talk to the bartender about renting a room if you were coming into the tavern to have a drink. I'll show you guys one more thing before I have to go, and that is my Minutemen checkpoint. This is the most recent thing I added to the city, and I added this about a year ago. The Minutemen checkpoint is basically the first person that will stop you if you look shady or if you're about to cause some problems. It's also a good person to talk to if you've never been to the city of Sanctuary, if you're new to the Commonwealth. He's the person that will give you some good guidance and directions. Alright guys, well that's pretty much it. That concludes my daytime tour of the city of Sanctuary, and obviously if you've followed me or watched my videos before, you know that I usually post a nighttime tour as well, following usually within a few days of my daytime. So keep an eye out for that if you like this video. And then keep in mind guys, there's one more thing I can show you real quick before I go, and that is the mods I used to make this, which is actually 0. I don't use mods at all. So if you liked what you saw today, keep in mind that you can build all this on your own using just the vanilla pieces, the DLC pieces, and the Creation Club pieces. So you guys have a good day, and I will see you all next time.